It's me, Mr. Glass, back at it once again. But the truth is the truth, period. And what I'm gonna share with you guys is what I would say to you is a bunch of bullshit. I'm gonna post it on my YouTube, on my Facebook channel too. It's how they feel about the guy that leaked the secrets on them doing us, the people, unjust and wrong. And he leaked what them bitches was doing. But I want y'all to hear how they feel about their own. One that they thought was with them. And by you hearing this, I want you soldiers, I want you policemen, I want all you sons of bitches that's along with these bitches in their plots. I say it again, I want all you bitches that's with these bitches in their plots to fuck over the people. I want you stank dog nasty ass soldiers to know that I spit on those of you that know that you're gonna be killing innocent babies and people. You're gonna be killing innocent people unarmed. I spit on you soldiers that's gonna be doing this shit with no remorse because you are getting an order to. Because all I can say to you is just imagine the shoe being on the other foot. Just imagine when they get finished using you, your turn comes. Every last one of you son of bitches that think that y'all gonna get some kind of big old fucking reward for the bullshit that y'all doing to the people. I just want you to know this, you stinking low down sons of bitches. Your heart still pumps blood. I don't care how dark it is. Hello?
Hey, 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 hey.
What you say.
Okay, this is the new watch.
Talk
Let me stop.
talk to me.
Alrighty. I'm gonna go pick him up now, and I'm gonna call you.
Okie doke.
I won't bother y'all much.
Cause I want you to learn how to shoot and pull yourself anyway. Cause then you and him can do that there and just go talk. You see, cause you gotta get something that can break ice in between people even.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
What sugar there?
But I called him already. He's getting ready. Believe it or not, they're sleeping all day. They stayed up till 5 this morning.
Right, wait, he good in the jail then.
Yeah, so him, my niece, and the best friend, and one of the Spanish boys, them that's
Cool,
running.
cool. All of them can come.
No. They all went, I took them skating last
Oh,
night.
all right. Cool. All right.
Wanted to break in his, he wanted to break the birthday like that. That was big plan. Who am I talking to?
Hello, this is Pegasus
I'm still
Lifestyle
here.
Management. How can I
Still here.
help? Thank you, sir. Your spectacular
Yeah, that was my
aircraft is
phone.
now ready for you at our nearest airfield.
Well, I'll see you when I get there.
All right.
It'll be a little better because it's going to be almost over.
Hey, no, don't even worry about it. Just hit me when you're on your way. Then I can put on my shoes.
Okay?
All right.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, and later.
Yeah, all right, later. So like I was saying before my phone rang, where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about you stank ass people that's gonna be killing people for the agenda of you just going room. That's some bullshit. And I said the people gonna stop that shit too. Trip out though, fool. It seemed like we'll see how long it take for one of these stupid ass kids or adult to come and kill me, even though I ain't doing them shit, and they don't have to worry about me. I'm not gonna kill them neither. Why can't I live and just go? Thank you. Gonna go to my. But back to what I was saying again. You soldiers, y'all are some real stupid, brainwashed, dumb. I don't have no respect for no soldiers right now. None, none. If it was up to me, I'd spit on you. That's how much respect I have for you right now. Only soldiers that I have respect for is the soldiers that know, like I say, that did not know that all the bullshit was false flags that he was in. But all the ones that know that that bullshit now, fuck y'all. Every last one of y'all. With a horse's peanut on. And that is dirty as I can visualize it. Because to kill any human being unarmed for no apparent reason but for somebody else's shit, that's real bullshit to me. And that's a real bullshit ass person to me. That ain't worth shit. But I guarantee most of all you low down dirty fucking people are y'all ones that like eating out the ass and shit. Yep. Yep. That's what it is. I know now who y'all are. All low down dirty motherfuckers. All the motherfuckers that like eating out the ass and shit. I'm just trying to tell you. I know now. I know now who you are. You low down and you dirty ass. You low down and you dirty ass. Oh yeah, I'm by my house. My house right in front of me. Right in front of me. Right in front of me. One side. Post on over there. No aim right there. Like the champion you are. So I'm being a CEO. I was gonna have to always be in this bitch fight. Like I said, I don't play with little boys that think they little girls. And I don't play with grown men that run around here with a pussy and they got a dick. Because when you think about it, they all a dick, not knowing it's gay to be running around here with a pussy and this ain't no motherfucking Tomb Raider. And for you back to you kids, none of y'all sons of bitches should be on this game. This game ain't made for y'all. This game grow y'all up way earlier than y'all should be. And that ain't no bullshit. Well, like I was saying again, while we watch a little of this havoc of what they doing on the streets, I want y'all to live in here. Um, I think his name was Williams. But anyway, let's live in hear a little bit from him.
Edward Snowden is a coward, he is a traitor, and he has betrayed his country.
The man who leaks details of a secret telephone and internet surveillance program in the USA has disappeared in Hong Kong.
If he wants to come home tomorrow to face the music, he can do so.
We should use every legal avenue we have to bring him back to the United States.
I want to get him caught and brought
brought back for trial.
I don't know how anybody can view this person as anything other than a criminal.
We've been telling him, get out, get out, get out, get out.
You're going along with someone's life literally in your hands. Either our plan had worked and we would get on that flight, or it wouldn't.
Just 3 weeks earlier, Edward Snowden, a 29-year-old analyst for the National Security Agency in the USA, was waiting for journalists he thought he could trust. In his backpack, he had nearly 1 million top-secret NSA documents. The journalists were traveling across the world, from New York to a hotel in Hong Kong, for a secret meeting whose outcome they couldn't predict.
Because I knew that what was waiting there was vitally important. But because we didn't know what really was going on, we thought there was even a chance. I mean, every step of the way kind of had all sorts of hazards. The question mark that hung over us more than anything else was the fact that we had no idea who the person was that we were about to meet. So we were really just kind of rushing into this huge unknown.
The documents Snowden had with him were so sensitive, he could be in prison for decades for removing them.
I just wanted to play a little of this white boy.
For all he knew, the U.S. authorities could have intercepted the communications of the journalists,
people.
and he was about to fall into a trap.
So you think that they're going to do something justifiable for you by having you the front runner of this bullshit? When they get finished using you up, that's a wrap. I'm through in this shit. You'll see for yourself.
I had to expect that the most likely scenario was that I would be let out in handcuffs.
How would we know that we weren't talking to some agent or somebody else? So the quite ingenious method that he invented was to hold this Rubik's Cube, and that was the first thing I looked for.
After getting top-secret documents from Snowden, the two Guardian journalists published their first stories. They did not name their source. Edward Snowden's identity remained a secret.
At the time, I thought he was paranoid. Once we were in the room, he piled pillows up against the door jamb, up high along the sides and along the bottom. So if there was somebody passing in the hallway, just eavesdropping, would make it more difficult for me.
The stories began to appear, and then there's a period of time before he then self-identifies. In that gap there, it's my understanding that NSA had a very good idea who that was, what he had done, and then it's a simple step from there to begin to use all the tools available to the U.S. government as to where he might be.
Once I get to my office, I'll be able to put on UMAR Johnson. And we can hear with this hip-hop bullshit and this nigga bullshit with the gay agenda. Y'all don't even know how to play y'all spend all y'all time killing one another. I'm gonna tell like yourself, I'm gonna get me a team that's gonna be well enough.
This is the greatest loss of secrets in our nation's history. And so that certainly was energizing the other parts of the U.S. government to do everything they could to get him, and especially the materials, back before there was any more
not kill
harm.
each other for bullshit. God tell you,
How far
like
was
I
the
feel
U.S.
about
going
it.
to
Ain't
go
nothing but bullshit.
based on your professional experience in the intelligence community?
For me, it was a question of, could the government feel every copy of this material could be stopped at a single point? And if that point had presented itself,
so what time should I shoot through?
then it was
Yeah,
even
she's gonna get him
possible
and
that
everything.
they might
He
try
get
to kill
around
him.
in another 35, 45 minutes.
Yeah, man. You know, and I know my idea is fire. Cause my girl said that's a good idea, you know. I said, yeah, I know. So I was just, I said, wasn't that many people at the park at that time? 'Cause it was hot. I was out there like at 12:30, 1 o'clock, because I want to get a lot of sun. And so I'm just walking, and this is walking. So I said, oh, I said, look. I said, go away. Leave me alone. Shit, leave me alone. Go away! I told her, I said, man, I said, them demons don't want, leave this, let this big chunky motherfucker stay chunky in the motherfucker. You don't, I don't want no help. Yeah, that's what that spirit was nasty.
That demon hollered at you like a shit.
Leave me alone! Like, what's his name, in the series?
Come on.
Like, what's that boy?
Come on.
The dog.
Look up to you.
Like dog.
Look up to you.
What's that boy? Little Dale. Leave me alone! That's what she sound like. Go away, shit!
That was the spirit.
And she said, shit!
That was the spirit. Biggs, the goodness of what you were trying to do to her life, the evil of around her holler out at you. Back the fuck off me. I got you.
All I did was just keep on. I did like.
See, cause this what I was talking about. You see what my business is?
For many years, Edward Snowden worked in
Real.
NSA
Why
headquarters in
real?
Washington, D.C.
Why love?
Just
Why
miles from where he grew up.
TLC?
I saw him in the shadow of the National Security Agency, literally. It was an
Thank you,
area
see
for
that?
me. He was there. I picked him up. We went out to dinner.
What are you talking about, man?
The Snowden
No, man.
family has a
Look
long
in the
history of
background,
military
over her
service
head. You in my
dating back to
office.
colonial times.
You see in the over background? Yah is with two lines going through it. That's a Y. Why you here? And then real, and then why love, and then why TLC. And the love and care, baby. See, that's the industry.
He just seemed
Oh yeah, and you know when you're doing it well, you're doing it well, son. Shit, but what they always do? Look, I know, yeah, I know. But I said, Dave, I know what it means. Remember I told you I had a difference on here, but I'm gonna be telling people about the tea and everything.
People do that when they come there. They joke. Hey, it's not 10, 11 care, but it's nice, like 10, 11 care.
Right, but think about it. Give me some tea. I want some, really. But it's 10, 11 care to your body. Give me some.
I assumed that maybe there was something going on between him and his long-term partner, Lindsay Mills, which really concerned me because I knew that he loved her very much.
All right.
And I gave him a hug. And it was,
Thinking about having sex all damn day and getting high and getting drunk. So by the time you hear the rap song or you rap, you done throw a couple back, you on the dance floor, and some unknown dude grinding on your behind. So it's good because it says feel the curves and the bottle shaped like a woman, but you don't see the person having oral sex in the ice cube. You see, this kind of stuff sits in your subconscious mind. Are you following me? And it hits you a little bit later on when you're not even thinking about it. I put it side by side so you can see it. And all you want to do is buy a damn soda. Are you following me? These people want to jump right into it. I want to call my portion of the presentation Intellectual Insurrection. It has a little bit of a psychological twist to it because that's what I am. For those who don't know me, I see a lot of new faces, which is a good thing. I'm a school psychologist by training, a nationally certified school psychologist. And what I do in my job is I evaluate children in public school, and I decide who goes into special education. Any child who's ever been put in special ed got there because a school psychologist evaluated the child and said that they had one of 12 educational disabilities: mental retardation, autism, emotional disturbance, specific learning disability, deafness with blindness, orthopedic impairment, traumatic brain injury, other health impairment, multiple disabilities, or developmental delay. What I call the Sweet 12 or the Sweet 13. Depending on what state you live in, it's 12 or 13. In Pennsylvania, there's 12. The job of the school psychologist is very, very complicated because you're asked to determine whether or not this black child is struggling because they're not interested or because they can't learn. But special education is very political. To make it real simple, I'll give you an analogy. There's 2 million black men in prison, there's 2 million kids in special ed. Do you see the relationship? There's 2 million black men in prison, there's 2 million black kids in special education. I say that to say, parents, that you got to be very, very circumspect before you put your child in special education because it can be a high road to incarceration. By the way, there's no longer anything called a Board of Education in the Americas. There is no longer a Board of Education. You only have boards of incarceration. It's very important that you understand that. The purpose of school is to prepare children for prison for no other purpose. For no other purpose. There's 50 states in the United States.
Now stop right there. The game is also the same thing. The game prepare y'all for prison also. Because the game ain't showing you nothing that's gonna really help you be a better you in society. The game ain't gonna do nothing but make you and help you be more of a menace to society. And when you wonder why, just think of it like this. You are just a kid that's not supposed to be playing an adult game. Now, if you're doing some of the kid things in the game, which I say shouldn't have been put in the game, but it was put in the game with a reason. And that reason was to lure kids to the game. Because the people that create the game really want you kids. Really want you kids to be indoctrinated into wanting to be in the military, wanting to kill because you're kids and you don't know no better yet. And for you to live there and start your little brain off on something that you don't even want to know all this shit about just yet, your brain just not starting to develop. You still a kid. Mentally, this here is shocking your brain into not really understanding, to overstanding, to understanding that it's really doing something to you because you're a kid. And see, you don't see the stupid shit that you do on here is stupid shit because you're stupid. Because you're a kid. Kids are stupid. And they do stupid shit. And then they laugh about the stupid shit because they're a kid. They don't know it's stupid because their mind ain't developed enough to know that it's stupid because they're a kid. So they gotta get a pass. But they shouldn't be on this game to even much get a pass. Because the game show you sex, violence, everything that's bad. You tell me what only good, there's only one good on here. And that's why I'm on here. That's when you come together in the mission to get a mission done. And then that's when I get the whole conversation with all y'all for a little time at least doing that mission. But I still say to you kids, this game wasn't made for you. It was made to entice you and to get you on it so it can fuck you up. But it is what it is. This game ain't no game when you can understand, overstand, understand how it's changing your little mind. You don't know. So y'all think I'm preaching to you. I'm just telling you the truth. Because for you to get off of this game, and then when you're off it, all you're doing is thinking about what you're going to do once you get back on the game. I'm just saying, think about that. Try and tell you the truth. You kids, See, when this new world order shit happen, you gonna wish that you was a kid then, cause you gonna know exactly what's happening. You getting fucked over, and that's gonna be the truth. But if I was you kids, I would want to be a kid, and that's my honest truth. Be an adult. Why? You're still a kid. You can get a chance to be an adult. You gotta be a kid first. But y'all being kids, y'all being adults first. And what I mean by that, y'all doing adult things. Like robbing, smoking, drinking, having sex. This game promotes too much of the bad for this game to even much be a game that any of y'all have. But a lot of y'all do. And I done heard some of y'all intercessions. Oh, it makes me say to myself, if we got to depend on our youth, shit, we through. But I'm trying to grab some of y'all that's good people, that's good kids, that's understand humans being on this game. It's just a game. Keep it like that. Don't play it no other kind of way. But they got a lot of sick fuckers out here, and they on this game every fucking day. And when I mean every day, they don't give it a break. They own this bitch. So I'm just saying, y'all some real twisted individuals. Now I'm back to you kids. You kids don't even know. They got pedophiles on here that's talking to y'all and y'all don't know. Cause I done caught a couple of them. And I done talked to them and they done click me off. But I'm just saying, y'all don't know kids. Y'all easy to be manipulated into shit. It's really fucked y'all off. But I say this to you kids. Y'all better realize, ain't no bullshit. This game can get y'all flipped the fuck off. Because y'all not knowing the type of mind games that grown-ups are playing. That's not grown-up, the pedophiles on this game. And those mind games are playing you all the same. Because your mind is not developed enough to get what that motherfucker is doing. That's why I say this is the wrong stuff for a kid. Because this is as evil as any game could be. When you get to kill people on TV and then get paid for it. You get to make your own movie, just like I'm doing right now. Mine is straight out of love. My movie is for y'all to see, check it out, and hear me talking about the truth. All because if I don't talk about it, who else will? Ain't nobody gonna want to show no love. That's just our problem here in the world today. Where is the love? We all here together as one unit. All because one hand washes another. If you don't know, two, it's gonna always be more than one. Always. So let me put Umar Johnson back on. And in the background, we're gonna hear a little of this karaoke, talk some more truth.
In each of the 50 states, the black population in prison is at least triple their population in society. In the state of Pennsylvania, blacks make up 10% of the population, but half of those in prison. In every state, we are 2 or 3 times our natural population inside the prison. It's deliberate, it's intentional, and it's systematic. And I say that to say that we have to prevent ourselves from falling into the trap of blaming the victims for their own situation. Yes, black people are the #1 accomplice to white supremacy. Without a doubt, we are the #1 accomplice because we do nothing about it. Okay? But we do not spend billions of dollars to keep ourselves where we are. We did not put up the $500 million to create HIV. We didn't put up the money to create Ebola. We're not the ones building the prison. We don't create the miseducation system. So as you can see, you are not the chief cause of your problem because you don't have the economic organization to do what's being done to you. Very important that we understand that. Now I want to deal with education first. If I'm going to deal with education, I got to deal with incarceration. The reason why you see the incarceration rates mushrooming as they are is because what? The black man and woman are no longer needed in American society. You were brought here to do what? To work, to labor on behalf of someone else. But now there is a whole group of minorities who are coming into America, who are willing to do the job that you did for cheap without no complaints. Your existence in America is very peculiar. It is problematic for white supremacy. Why? Because you actually have a right to be here. You actually have a stake in this country. You built it. So that's very problematic when you want to get rid of a people. So what must you do? To get rid of those people, you have to do what? Find somebody to take their place. America will always need a free and exploitable source of labor. Because they don't want the black man and woman to no longer be the free and exploitable source of labor, they have turned now to the who? The Hispanic. And now the Hispanic is upbeating you with everything you think of. In fact, in President Obama's last medical higher education bill, he put $2.5 billion aside for historically black colleges and universities. But for the first time in history, that money for black colleges can go to white colleges if they are trying to recruit and retain Hispanics. In case you haven't been paying attention, the entire civil rights movement that your ancestors fought, bled, and died for has been totally taken over by Hispanic homosexuals. Now, when you deal with homosexuality, sometimes you make the mistake of dealing with it through a moral lens. Don't deal with it morally. It's not really a moral issue. Some of us deal with it through the cultural lens. Nothing wrong with that, but it's not principally a cultural issue. Some of us deal with homosexuality through a genetic lens. Okay? You can go there if you want, but there is no proof anywhere on the face of the earth that homosexuality is a natural God-given disorder. Now, let me tell you why homosexuality is here, and this relates to education. Why? Because homosexuality has now made its way into the public school. Some of your children are reading books that have same-sex marriage couples in it, and you don't even know this, because the books don't come home with the child. Okay? Now, in 1974, Secretary of State Henry Kissinger wrote a national security memorandum dealing with population control in the United States. In this population control memorandum, he recommended to the President of the United States, who I believe was Richard Nixon at the time, that if you want to control the black population in America, which is growing, I suggest that we openly advocate for homosexual relationships in the black community. It is a population control strategy. It has nothing to do with God, and it has nothing to do with genetics. The reason why you see so much homosexual advocacy is it is a population control measure. And then they put the HIV into the homosexual male, and now they give it to the black woman, so now you exterminate the whole race. The problem with our community is we don't have a socialization process. We wonder why so many males become homosexual, because the homosexuals have a socialization process for your child. We wonder why so many children drop out of high school, because the school district has a socialization process for your child. They can almost predict that they're going to leave in 9th grade because they socialize them that way. The Army has a socialization process for your child. That's why once they enroll, they consider themselves Army men and Marines. Even when they sleep, they have it in their mind, because they're socialized to do that. You do not have a socialization apparatus in place. As a result, your children don't even belong to you. You think they do until they get a certain age, and now they belong to somebody else, because there's invisible systems at play that you can't see with the naked eye. You can only see it if you put on your political shades. And most of us don't look at our political shades. We can't see it. Which is why you hear black people say today that there can't be no white racism, because I don't see no white people in the ghetto. But what you fail to realize is that you do not have to be present if the strength of your system is as developed enough that allows you not to be there. They control the ghetto by remote control. And they control the ghetto by who? Black elitist Negro leaders. And one of the biggest reasons why black people haven't made more progress is because you keep listening to these leaders who are members of the black elite, whose agenda is the same as your enemy. But you can't see this. An elitist Negro is no different from a European. They have the same values, they have the same interests, and none of them can stand grassroots blackness. Which is why any elitist Negro leader that you see, they don't live with you, they don't struggle with you, and they don't like to be seen after dark anywhere around you. They simply tell you what to do. In fact, as Attorney Alton Maddox in New York said it best, he said that there are no Negro leaders in America, there are only Negro brokers. Their job is to broker deals between the power structure and the black masses to keep them at peace. If you don't believe me, look at any revolt that almost turns into any kind of an organized struggle. In every situation, you see what? a Negro leader being sent in by the power structure not to organize your issue and present it in the right way, but to silence you altogether. Watch it. Some ministers, but not all. Some businessmen, but not all. Some politicians, but not all. But the key ones, without a doubt. And so what you have to ask yourself is, why are you following this person? And the interesting thing about Black America, it's impossible for you to have a leader anyway, because you're not organized. Organized groups of people choose leaders. If you notice, nobody can give white people a leader. They have an apparatus in place for that. You've never heard of someone giving the Orientals a leader. They have an apparatus in place for that. Black people are the only people on earth where you can tell them who's leading them, without them actually giving their own informed consent, as we call it in psychology. So I'm saying that to say that you got to back off and stop reacting to what's going on. And if we're going to talk about reacting to what's going on, I got to talk about President Obama. Now, many of you didn't know this man 3 years ago. In fact, the first that most of us heard of him was during the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. If you go back to Hurricane Katrina, the United States government decided, and by the way, the government is nothing more than a group of men who carry out the wishes of the corporate gangster bankers. Let's be clear. Okay? That's it. The people in Washington, D.C. do nothing but carry out the orders of the international corporate conglomerate. The government is not run by folks, it's run by bucks. Very important that you understand that. But anyway, in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, former President Clinton and current President at the time, Bush, were on their way down to shake hands with the victims of Hurricane Katrina. Not to do anything about it, just to shake hands. But anyway, President Obama, who was then Junior State Senator Obama, was over in Russia on some foreign relations business on behalf of the Council on Foreign Relations, the board of which his wife sits on. Now, by the way, CFR was started to rip Africa off of its resources, by the way. In fact, the CFR goes back to the 1920s. And believe it or not, its creation was actually spurred by the work of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who had organized black people all across the world. Okay? So that's where the CFR comes from. So if you belong to the CFR, whether you are Michelle Obama or Jesse Jackson, who's also a member, you are there to help the white power structure rape off poor black nations. Or should I say, disorganized nations, because there's really no such thing as a black nation, because what is in the soil of Africa and most other so-called third world nations makes the world go around today. If you shut down Africa's borders, white supremacy will fall overnight. So understand that we are at the center of everything that goes on in this world, whether we are in control of it or not. But anyway, they told Clinton and Bush that you got to wait till Obama comes back before you go down and shake hands with the victims. So let me ask you a question. If he wasn't chosen to be the next president of the United States, what the hell was he doing with two current presidents? They chose him before you knew him. So you got a bad habit of celebrating when there ain't nothing to celebrate about. Now, when Obama first ran for state senator of Illinois, he ran against Bobby Rush, former Black Panther from that section of the city, of that state, Chicago, Bobby Rush. Bobby Rush blew him out the water. Obama comes back again and runs again, only this time he got the backing of the National Democratic Party for a state race, which is something you tend not to see. Not only that, once he wins, he is invited to be the keynote speaker at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. Okay, you know what that is like? If I'm not mistaken, isn't Shirley Kitchen a state senator? Could you imagine her being invited by the Democratic National Convention to be the keynote speaker? Well, that's what they did with Barack Obama. Why would they take a nobody, per se, and make him the keynote speaker of something that large? Because they wanted to see the reaction of white America. And the reaction was phenomenal. It was astounding. And that's when they decided that we would make him what he was. But even more importantly, for you to understand, the man who created the Trilateral Commission on behalf of the Rockefeller family, a European by the name of Zbigniew Brzezinski, whose books we need to get in the bookstore, The Grand Chessboard, which is one of them, which basically gave the strategy plan for 911. He said whenever you want to control a terroristic incident, when people are afraid, they voluntarily give up their rights. Just like you do in your neighborhood because you're scared of the drug dealers, but you ain't once asked the government why they can't stop the drugs from coming in the country. But then after all, we know that the drug industry is $500 billion a year, and if you stop the drug industry, Wall Street will plummet. If you stop the drug industry, most of you who are getting ready to retire would have no money to retire on, because illegal drugs is used to supplement most major stocks on Wall Street. In fact, 2 weeks ago, BBC ran a story. The United States Marine Corps and Army was in Afghanistan 2 weeks ago, and they came into a large poppy pit. And by the way, Afghanistan is the #1 poppy producing nation on the face of the earth. Opium and heroin, Afghanistan. Now you know why they're there. Ain't got nothing to do with freedom and democracy. We ain't even free and democratic here. Okay? So anyway, they...
Like I said again, fuck you soldiers. Fuck every last one of you sons of bitches that's on active duty right now, overseas. Y'all sons of bitches that's on this game right now. Fuck all y'all. Y'all know that y'all doing this shit for bullshit for somebody else's agenda. Y'all knowing that y'all gonna be killing other people that's innocent for somebody else's agenda. All because somebody is giving you an order. Do you not know that you will be held accountable for that bullshit that you do? If it don't affect you now, it will fuck with you mental. Cause that's some bullshit. To kill innocent people for someone else's agenda. And you the one pulling the motherfucking trigger and they at home watching you do it. Killing a human being ain't like stepping on ants. But you're being able to lay up there and dehumanize the fucking human being by playing these fucked up games. Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, any game where it glorifies or pay you money to kill. That's some bullshit, man. I haven't seen a game yet that have people in the army go over to Cambodia or somewhere where some people are really being done some real fucked up shit. You don't see shit like that. You see innocent people being killed for oil. Innocent people being killed for diamonds. Innocent people being killed for bullshit. But it ain't gonna be the real shit until you in it. That's why I say a lot of you sons of bitches up there talking about you 100% with yourself. Fuck you. You ain't nowhere near 100% with yourself if you don't give a fuck about somebody that you don't know. Because the selfish bullshit that you do, you can tell that you give a fuck about the people that you do. But why not take some time out and put some praise and some prayers from you to the creator of it all, the good vibrations, send them out in the air for somebody you don't know, that don't feel like nobody care about them too. I'm just saying, it's time for us to lay up there and fuck that God shit. That shit that's starting to get on my fucking nerves. Just like the motherfucking bullshit with the black Jesus. It is. Because you know that there's only one creator and there's many fucking gods. And you can say God so easily, you can look at it, you say God damn, that'll be cursing the creator twice if the creator was God. And then the creator don't have nothing to do with money, and then look what it is, in God we trust his own money. It's much bullshit. The master created that God shit for to have you fear, to keep you in a place where they wanted to keep you at. Because everything that you was talking about repetitions from a kid to become an adult. So I'm going to say to you right now, fuck all that bullshit. The Bible even says, you play with things as a kid, and once you become an adult, it's time to put the childish things away and to become who you're supposed to be, a fucking adult. So I say to you, reboot the original computer, which is your brain, and become the adult that you're supposed to be and start thinking for yourself. And then you're going to realize a lot of shit that you was taught was bullshit. I'm just saying, you gotta start loving each other. First, love yourself to tell the truth and not be lying about every fucking thing. Love yourself to tell the truth, so then you'll know who the truth is in you and who the original creator is. Before man changed the name from love to God. Yeah, man did that bullshit. And I'll give you the reason why he changed it. He changed it simply because you couldn't kill another man and say love is behind you. So he had to do something to be justifiable. So he used good and changed it to God. And then said, okay, well, we can get rid of love now by saying God is love. Instead of love came before. Man even created all the different gods. That's some bullshit. But until you change your mind, you won't change your life. You'll be still stuck in this bullshit, not knowing what's right. But I know, fuck all that believing in. I used to do that before I had ground to stand on, even though I sit down. Back to UMAR. Dirty little low down kids.
Newspaper that the Marine Corps and the Army were forbidden by President Obama to burn up the poppy seeds. So you mean to tell me you're in here fighting the enemy government who can sell this drug crop for millions of dollars to finance their war, and you don't destroy it? That's because you're not in there to destroy them, you're there to oversee your drug operation. It's a book you need to read called Dark Alliance by a European reporter by the name of Gary Webb, W-E-B-B. He's the one who was murdered after he published this book because he had uncovered, okay, that the United States government, okay, was trading guns for drugs and giving Central and South American gangs free access to black neighborhoods, helping them establish networks so they can sell their dope. Drugs is a form of chemical warfare in the black community. Don't look at it as nothing else. You can't stop it because you don't control it. Okay? So to beat up on young brothers who are out there selling it, even though they're wrong by what they're doing, but at the same time, we are wrong because if we had a job for our young people, they wouldn't be selling the drugs. See, they're out there selling because there's no economic system for black men. There's 5 stages of life of black men in America, in case you ain't paying attention. There is miseducation, there is medication, there is incarceration, there's frustration, and then there's extermination. That's it. And every black man in here, every black man who's not in here has a job of doing what? Trying to sidestep.
Get that. We'll run down back for you.
The United States government, okay, was trading guns for drugs and giving Central and South American gangs free access to black neighborhoods, helping them establish networks so they can sell their dope. Drugs is a form of chemical warfare in the black community. Don't look at it as nothing else. You can't stop it because you don't control it. Okay? So to beat up on young brothers who are out there selling, even though it is wrong by what they're doing, but at the same time, we are wrong because if we had a job for our young people, they wouldn't be selling the drugs. See, they're out there selling because there's no economic system for black men. There's 5 stages of life for black men in America, in case you ain't paying attention. There is miseducation, there is medication, there is incarceration, there's frustration, and then there's extermination. That's it. And every black man in here, every black man who's not in here has the job of doing what? Trying to sidestep those 5 steps, but they're extremely powerful. And the reason why they're so powerful is the minute you send your child to school and he can't sit still for 5 minutes, they want some Ritalin, they want some Cyclone, they want some Prozac, they want some Adderall, they want some Paxil. And they're giving you this, and you're giving it to your baby because somebody told you that a simple little family problem that can be solved with discipline is now a psychiatric issue with a brain-based neurological cause. But when they diagnose a child with a disorder, nobody ran a CAT scan or an MRI. It's about pimping because they make $32 billion a year off these black children who are being given these drugs. $32 billion a year. And nobody's even telling you about the side effects. Nobody's telling you that the drug messes with your son's ability to produce healthy semen in his testicles. Did anybody tell you that? And that's coming straight from the Food and Drug Administration. But wait a minute, you can't rely on the Food and Drug Administration to approve your medicine. Why? Because most of the high-ranking staff in the FDA have stock invested in the drug companies, most of which publicly trade on Wall Street. So the reason why your son is pumping dangerous drugs in his body is because somebody's stocks. So you got to look at the situation for what it is, black people. You got to turn off the TV and start reading a little bit more. And you got to make sure you grab those children and put them tight, close to you, because right now with what the homosexual movement is doing, it's off the hook. I was at a historically black college not too long ago, and I saw 2 cross-dressed brothers walk into the room where I was. Thoroughly cross-dressed, blouses, high heels, fishnet stockings at a historically black college and university. In fact, it's going on at most of the historically black colleges and universities. The homosexual movement has taken over the civil rights movement. But believe it or not, the homosexual movement and the civil rights movement have a little relationship. We go back to Dr. King and the civil rights movement, we find that his top advisor at the time was an openly professed homosexual by the name of David Russell. In fact, Dr. King was forced to start working with Bayard Rustin because everybody else in the civil rights movement said that this don't look right, because back then, black people stood for a little bit more. So a black minister had no problem standing up saying that I'm not for homosexuality. You'd be hard-pressed to find one today. And the reason why you'd be hard-pressed to find one today is because George Bush, the last president, came up with a bright idea. He said if the black church is the backbone of the black community, if we start giving them money, can we soften their position? And somebody said yes, and that's so he found a way to get past the constitutional provision of a separation of church and state. And so now you got black churches all across America, including in the city, who get money directly from Washington. They are the new FBI, faith-based initiative. Very important that you watch this. In fact, I know for a fact that the FBI in every major city, you should know this, has two lists. They have a list of radicals. I'm probably on there, some of you on there, okay? Then they got another list. These are resources. These are the leaders who they can go to and find out exactly what's going on here tonight. These are the people who they can go to and ask to keep a tab on him. What is he up to? What is he doing? And you know most of those lists are comprised of ministers. That's right, religious leaders. See, when somebody told you that we just deal with God, we don't deal with nothing else, that was a political decision, because there's nothing more political in this world than how you form your concept of the all-powerful creator. In fact, the white Jesus concept, okay, is a phenomenon that you only find in the black community, in that we are the only race of people who are voluntarily worship. I created in an image of somebody else's creation. You can't find it. You go to the Orient, Jesus looks like them. You go to the Middle East, Jesus looks like them. You go to white countries, Jesus looks like them. But when you go to certain Roman Catholic cathedrals, Jesus looks like us. Like if you go to the Vatican, if you go to the Catholic Cathedral in Poland, in Spain, in Ireland, most of them have black Madonnas and chops to this day. But the reason why there's a white image of a white Jesus in your church is because the mind works by symbols. And if I make your God look like me, then naturally your unconscious mind will associate me and George Bush and every other white man who's come across as being God Almighty. So when you think you on your knees praying to God, you really worship the white man, you the white man. Making African children inferior begins with birth. I say it all the time. So when a child come home, you turn on the TV, white racist cartoon. Everybody remember the Tasmanian devil? The little ugly fat thing that just kept spinning around? Do you know why that cartoon was created? Because at the time, the British was in Australia, okay? And there's an island off the coast of Australia, Tasmania. They exterminated every living black man, woman, and child on the island of Tasmania, so they gave you the Tasmanian devil. Remember this. You cannot exterminate a people until you first exterminate their image in the mind of everybody else. Look at Hitler in Nazi Germany. Before he could attack the Jews, he had to do what? First have a propaganda campaign that made the Jews worthless in the eyes of everybody else. And that's what we fail to realize. It is only after you have been made a demon in the eyes of everybody else can you then be exterminated. But the interesting thing about Nazi Germany is that there was a population of 50,000 Africans who lived there and went through the same hell, and you don't find them memorialized at no Holocaust. Why you don't see no pictures of black people at Holocaust? In fact, do you know that there was a group of black soldiers called the Liberators who liberated the European Jews from some of the worst concentration camps that there are? And to this day in Germany, European Jews have an annual celebration celebrating the black soldiers who saved them from war. One thing you got to understand about movies and motion pictures is there's nothing entertaining about it. It's all political. Do you know that there is an office, a committee in the United States Congress that must approve every movie that comes across the bill? Why you think you never seen a real movie on that Turner insurrection? Why you think you never seen a real movie on the Garvey War? Why you think you never seen a real movie on the slave trade? It's not allowed. Why? Because images can wake you up just like images will put you to sleep. And that's why when you see black movie producers, if you notice, they're not allowed to do any serious movies either. Or they keep showing you the same hood movie time and time again. Right now, we got a popular comedy out in the movies right now. A bunch of black men acting like fools over the death of their fathers. And to you, you think it has no image. But when a white person goes to the movie, they watch that, what do you think goes across their mind? They believe that this is what you are. I remember when I was at Millersville University, white boy smacked a black girl in her behind. He was joking around. When he got sent to the dean's office, the dean asked him, why did you do that? He said, I thought that's what they like because that's all I see on television. Images rule the world. Images rule the world. I can sit up here and tell you Jesus is black all day, but if you put a million pictures of a white Christ up here, that's exactly what your brain is going to grab onto, because the brain is the creature of repetition. And that's why you got to make sure you do not raise your black children to believe that they have a choice as to whether or not they want to be a man or a woman. Tell them there ain't no choices in this house.
Nah.
You got to stand for something because some of us are confused.
Yeah,
Civil
y'all
rights
confused.
people got you thinking that you are being a
That's some
hypocrite
of y'all
of the civil
motherfuckers
rights
on the
movement
game.
if you do not stand for diversity in sexual behavior. I got an email the other day. Somebody wanted me to come and speak and facilitate a discussion on sexual diversity. It was gays, lesbians, transgender, transsexuals, metrosexual, every type of sex was out there. Half of them I never heard of before. Okay? So you got to be careful. You got men out there taking hormones, becoming...
Nah, I stop right there. See, this is those who are just listening. It is what it is when you think about gay people. They confuse individuals. It's like you little boys that's playing with little girls. It's like them allowing boys and girls going to the same bathroom. All this is to twist up to have you thinking that it's anything goes. So then when it's time for things to be clamped down on, you ain't gonna know shit. You gonna be confused as the shit started, the shit gonna end. So when you sit there and you think about the reason why the sexual perversion is all out of control, like it's out of control, I know why. It's because people took love and put it out of control to break it down from 4 letters to just 3. When they broke it down from love to just sex, it changes its whole demeanor. Because they got tired of love. How you get tired of love? Unless you was never in love in the first place. That's why I can say that when I say that the Creator's name is love, changed from God to God, I'm just saying. How I know what I'm saying is the truth? Because in the Bible, it says that you're not supposed to say the Creator's name in vain. And you can look and see how easy y'all call out the name God. But I know the name of the Creator was love, or was changed to God, because love is the only word that you can say in vain. When you tell somebody else you love them and you don't feel the same, and they find out that you was never in love. Do you understand or stand to understand? Do you get what I just said? Love is the name of the Creator that was changed to God. Because love is the Creator who created all life. And I can back that up. Because I went somewhere to know what I know. And I can show you so. Just by the things that I can write. To say that I can't read or write. So when you look at everything that I do, it's going to be tight. Because I'm living my life and I'm living it right. I just pray for those who see the light and see that it only gives you good outcome when you do things right. Because when you sitting there scheming on everything you do, don't think in the circle of life it ain't gonna come back on you. Because that's why it's called the circle of life. What goes around, comes around. If you do something wrong, you better be ready for the get down when your turn comes back around. I'm just saying. Let's go back to some old more while we're doing these waves.
You got women out there taking hormones, becoming men. I know because in my graduate program, we had a class with diversity. They didn't talk about race, you know what they talked about? Homosexuality and lesbians. They've taken over the whole movement. And I'm saying that to say this, you gotta stop trying to blend your struggle in with everybody else. Black people got a bad habit of trying to hold hands with every other person on earth who got some color in their skin. And what you got to realize is all these other people who got color in their skin don't care anything about you. You're quick, the Native American. I'm half Indian. So the hell what? I bet you they won't claim you. I'm half Hispanic. So the hell what? I bet you they won't claim you. My grandmother was a Japanese. So the hell what? If she was so Japanese, why you buying their hair shit? You was growing it. Understand this. If a white person found out that his grandfather was black, you would never know. If a Japanese found out that his grandmother was black, you would never know. But let a black person find out that they got anything of anybody else in there, and you walk into their house, and their whole house is the flag of that other race, even though they don't have to do it. I know because when I was in college, I had some friends of mine who had a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you walk into their room, and you would think they was 100% or 100% Russian. Don't look nothing like them. They look like a boy Negro to me. But you want to be something else. But anyway, here's the issue with Obama. And this is the one piece that you got to grab your mind around. And I don't know why I keep seeing Barack Obama's face on posters with Dr. King and Malcolm X, and most disrespectfully, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who will probably spit in the man's face. Okay? And that's why people who do art, if we got any artists in here, you got to be a conscious artist. Okay? You got to stop making pictures that are big lies. Okay? Garvey facing Obama, that's a lie. King on his shirt with Obama, that's a lie. Why is it a lie? Because Dr. King was for reparations, read his speeches, Obama is against it. Dr. King was for civil rights and affirmative action, Obama is against it. Not only is Obama against that, he also said that he's not even interested in an apology for slavery. Barack Obama, your president. But guess what? It's our fault. Because everybody who voted for President Obama, we are the only group, 40 million strong and shrinking, 40 million strong, who did not meet with the man before you pledged your vote. You got a bad habit of voting. You want to know why the Hispanics got a Supreme Court justice out of Obama? Because they met with him first. You know why the homosexuals are getting everything that they want? Because they met with him first. The police met with him first. The unions met with him first. You didn't meet with him. You said his father was African. I said, well, he never knew him, but we don't care. He had a black vote. Somebody manipulated your consciousness and you ran out of votes. And I'm not saying you did anything wrong because you know you can choose the president any damn way. The Electoral College choose the president of the United States. See, that night that Barack Obama won, I was looking at the popular vote ticket. And on the popular vote ticket, he only beat McCain by 3 million votes. You know what that means? He only beat him by one small state. That's why you wonder why he gets so much hate mail. People say, well, wait a minute, how you get so much hate mail? He won in a landslide. No, he won the Electoral College vote in a landslide. The people he won by one. But here's my issue. You ain't gonna catch hell under Obama. You're gonna catch more hell when he's no longer in office. Let me tell you why. You have went on record, us, the Negro people, have went on record as saying what? No matter what that man does not do for me, he can ignore me, he can ignore police brutality, he can ignore miseducation, he can ignore the over-incarceration of black men, and he's still my man. So let me ask you a question. 8 years from now, when Obama is no longer president of the United States, and Jim Brown the cracker is in the White House, and you go send the man with the perm up there, what's his name? You send Al Sharpton up there to go and debate for you. You know what that new president going to tell you? Get out my damn face. You just had a Negro in office for 8 years and let him do whatever he wanted to. You never hold him accountable one time. So how you think you just want to start holding white presidents accountable because the black president is so good? I'll never do another thing for you for the rest of my life. I'm telling you, by letting Obama slide for a decade, you let every white president slide for the rest of his term. And it's after Obama that you're going to see black folks catching up like you ain't never talked before because you let somebody manipulate your consciousness. About manipulating your consciousness, they was also able to manipulate your loyalty. And another thing, I gotta give a shout out to Black and Nobel. I know they got a diverse array of books up here. We got, the soft one up here, but they still got the conscious stuff in the back. No, I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying that. Because when you go to certain bookstores, particularly those that's owned by Europeans, you're gonna find that the conscious black literature section has all but disappeared. Has all but disappeared. In fact, I was in one not too long ago, and guess what? I walked in, I said, well, where's the serious black literature? They said, we don't sell that too much anymore. And I said, well, why not? And they said, because y'all don't want to read that. I said, well, where is it? He said, you go upstairs all the way to the back, and it's on the left-hand side. The The black literature section is about this big. The black exploitation section is as big as Walmart. See that? And here's the situation. Your young children, you gotta watch what they read, because reading is access to the unconscious mind. I keep telling people that. The images and messages that are in written print can be sucked up by the unconscious, and the next thing you know, your child is living off the images that they got in the book or off the television. In fact, most of us should get rid of the TVs in our house. We don't even really need them. There's no benefit to it. In fact, I was at a lecture the other day. Some parents got mad at me. I said, I wouldn't be mad if every high school in America shut down the football and the basketball team for 25 years. And they said, well, why would you want to do that? I said, well, the number one reason is the only person who benefits from black men being in the NFL and the NBA is more than white men. Am I wrong? And then they said, well, why is it that somebody said, well, the reason why the black men like the white women is they just happen to be the ones who are there. I said, that's a damn lie, because when they was growing up dead, broken, poor in the neighborhood, there was nothing but black women around them then, but they didn't grab one of them sisters. But you know why? Because the NBA has a socialization process for the athletes. I know some athletes in the NFL and the NBA, they tell me, do you know soon when you sign your contract, there's a mandatory private organization? They tell you who to hang with, where you better know, you better not go back to. They dissuade you from going back into your neighborhood to help out. They dissuade you from being around certain types of black women. They literally are told you don't want to date a woman who got twisted in here. It's bad for your public relations career. It's bad for endorsement. They are socialized to marry outside their race. But you know what's so sad about it? If they got broke to bed, now one of them women will be standing next to me. When I was an undergrad, I did a research study on interracial relationships. And you know what I found? 95% of the relationships between black and white are poor white women and rich black women. See that? So my question to you is really simple. If it's all about love, if it's about love, why haven't you never done a rich white woman married to a poor white woman? If it's all about love. You see that? And another thing, black folks, we got to make sure that we do not allow somebody to make us feel like we are being a bad human being by criticizing certain types of behaviors that are not in the best interest of African people. It ain't nothing personal. I ain't got nothing personal against Charles Barkley and Sidney Poitier. I ain't got nothing personal against Tiger Woods and James Earl Ray and Tay Diggs and Cuba Gooding Jr. and Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant, and I'll probably be here at 5 o'clock in the morning. I ain't got nothing personal against none of them. But the bottom line is women live longer than men, so if a rich black man marries a poor white woman,
if you are a black person, you're a stupid black kid too.
It ain't about it. In the big situation is a lot of our young brothers think when they sleeping with the white woman, they getting over. I'm getting her back for what they did to my aunt. No, you ain't shit dummy, because every time you go into that cave of hers, guess what? You come out more mixed out than the last time you went in there. You cannot lay down with somebody cohabitate and not pick up their energy. So when you lay down with her, you picking up her energy. You might have thought you was a strong black man, but after hitting that 25 times, guess what? You are as European as any other European man. It distorts consciousness. It distorts consciousness. And I'm going to tell you something from a psychotherapy standpoint. No child suffers more than a biracial black child. If you don't believe me, read Obama's own words in his own autobiographies. Read what that man tell you. I knew I had friends who was biracial. They never quite fit. White folks don't want a period. And some of us, because we into the whole light skin supremacy movement, we don't want to take them either. And by the way, we do have light skin supremacy in the black community. You do know that, right? Yes, we have light skin supremacy. I know black nationalists who are light skin supremacists. I know black leaders who are light skin supremacists. You'll never catch a sister with color around them. And they never get called on it. Some of y'all, when the babies come out to this very day, you know what you're doing? You're looking at their ears to see how dark they're going to be in 10 years. You're supposed to be celebrating African life, but the slave in you demands to know what is going to be ultimate complexion of this child. Some of you tell your kids don't bring anything home darker than a certain complexion. And just like you got light skin supremacy, you got black skin supremacy. I know some brothers that says they blue, black, purple, and anything lighter than them is inferior to you. That's right. So the light-skinned kids get beat up and picked on in some places, and then the dark-skinned kids get beat up and picked on in other places. And what I'm saying is we got to realize none of us are responsible for how we got here, no matter how dark or how light. See, when you judge black people, you don't judge black people based on skin color. You judge every black person by 5 things. Whether it's me, whether it's the leaders on TV, whether it's the person sitting next to you, whether it's your schoolmate. You judge them based on consciousness. courage, commitment, consistency, and creativity. Consciousness, courage, commitment, consistency, and creativity. For example, my black scholars who are working at the white colleges, but they love Africa so much, but all their kids go to white private schools, y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about because y'all bring them to Philly 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year and never asking no serious questions. Live in white neighborhoods, kids go to white schools, but they in love with you. Yeah, the hell right. So you got to understand the difference between somebody who's struggling and somebody who pimping. Because in case you ain't picked it up, black leadership is a very profitable business. I'm surprised they don't trade it on Wall Street. Black leadership stock. Tell me I'm wrong. Right now, we got a situation where most of your national black leaders have gotten quiet on your Obama question. It's a war going on in case you ain't noticed, and they all bourgeois fighting. So I don't want you to get too involved in the war, because even though I agree with Tavis and Bison, they still eating these blacks. They're not coming in the hood to help the war. But their position is accurate, which is that President Obama is taking care of everybody but blacks, and it's time for them to look at us. But you got other people on the other aisle, I ain't gonna say their names because I'm in love with them people, who say Obama basically ain't got to do nothing for black people. Okay, he won, and that should be enough. What's wrong with that argument? We're not fighting a personality, we are fighting global white supremacy. It is a system. Do you understand? So whether I'm in charge or whether he's in charge, you must fight the system. Because it ain't about the face you see, it's about the mechanical order behind it. And we've forgotten that. And we've forgotten that. And we've forgotten that. And let me go on to Africa for a moment. Some of us think that they don't want us in Africa. I've been to Africa 3 times, 5, 6 countries. I've never ran into that yet. I'm going to tell you what they don't want in Africa. They don't want somebody with internalized racism going over there making more internalized racists. That's what they don't want in Africa. If you're going to go, leave your basketballs here. They don't need them. Ladies, no disrespect, leave everything you got from Hing Ching Wong at your house. Don't bring it on the airport. They don't need that either. Because when I was in Johannesburg, South Africa, walking around in the hood, you know what I saw? I saw black sisters in these wooden-made perm factories, burning their skin, making a homemade lie, trying to look like you. I'm telling you what I saw with my own eyes. See, what black people have not grasped in America, you are the leaders of Africans around the globe, culturally and financially. You gross $850 billion a year. You are the richest group of blacks on the face of the earth. There is no group of blacks who makes more money than the Negro in America. In fact, there's only 9 groups of people with more richness than you on earth. So there's only 9 groups of people who make more money than black Americans, Negro Americans, ex-slaves, whatever you want to call it, because I don't know what an African American is. There's a hyphen in there. What's the hyphen going on? I think W.E.B. Du Bois said it best. I respect him a lot. He was a hater, though. He hated on Marcus Garvey, helped destroy the movement. Okay, but you got to look at the good and the bad in everybody. So I celebrate Du Bois' good, and at the same time, when I teach young black children, I got to teach you that he was a very, very jealous, Eurocentric man. And he wanted to destroy Marcus Garvey because Marcus Garvey didn't have a Howard degree. Harvard. So he wanted to know how this English-speaking Jamaican without a college degree comes to America and take over my leadership. Booker T. Washington had just died. So Du Bois said, I am the heir apparent. I'm supposed to be the next great leader, but here comes Mr. Garvey, some short fat man from Jamaica, who just organizes 15 million people like that. So it brought the jealousy. But my point is, getting back to Africa, is that we have to have something to give to Africa. With $850 billion, do you know if we were organized, no African nation went down to the World Bank or the International Monetary Fund? Do you know that? Do you know that? No African nation would ever have to borrow another dollar from the United States government if blacks in America were organized. But we are not organized. That is our problem. Still, Carmack and Carmack, he was a socialist, I'm a nationalist, but he was correct. And Mr. Garvey was correct when he said the number one enemy or the number one weapon used against the Negro is this organization. The only organization we have in our community is the church and the mosque. And guess what? That's not going to get it done. And the reason why it's not going to get it done, because the Orthodox Christian and the Orthodox Muslim are more alike than they are separate, because neither one of them wants anything to do with black people. And I can say that because I was raised Muslim and I challenge every Muslim on that. Orthodox. We don't want nothing to do with it. Islam is for everybody. You're right. Islam is for everybody, but the last time I checked, if you make Hajj, if you go to the Middle East, they call you Ibn Kafir like they do on the other side. Long beard or not. Don't let religion confuse you to your race. African people are the only people who are asked every day, are you loyal to who you are, or are you loyal to what you believe? The question for me is really simple. If God made me first and made me black, obviously being loyal to blackness is being loyal to God at the same time. I'm not choosing either or. They are one and the same for me. And that's where we mess up. And that's where we mess up. Remember, anything you drop into a self-hating people will be used for something. And if you don't give them anything, it will make up something. North Philly versus West Philly. William Penn versus Ben Franklin. But wait a minute. Y'all don't do no damn homework, and they don't do no damn homework. So how the name you want to fight in the name of the school? That's what Negroes do. That's what we do. And then we got a situation where all of our young people are self-medicating on marijuana. But ain't nobody telling them that they spraying the drugs that they bring to the hood. They spray them. I want y'all young people to know, if you keep on getting blunted like that, and we know who's smoking the bus because your fingertips look like you've been playing the piano all day. And it's funny, too, because I do psychological evaluations for a living, right? So soon they come in and say, I'm looking at the fingertips. And you know when you blunt, I'll see him laughing in the back. Yeah, I know. I know when you blunt it, because when you blunt it, you move in slow motion all day. Okay? But ain't nobody telling you that when you grow up, young man, and you want to get have your wife, and want to have a child, okay, you won't be able to give her what she needs to bring you that baby. Okay, because it messes with the sperm. Just like you're going slow motion, they be going in slow motion. And they never get to where they're supposed to be. So you got to slow that down. Now, speaking of spraying chemicals, let's talk about HIV for a moment. It's the #1 killer of black women 18 to 38. Now, right now, the United States government, the official's line is that AIDS was created. Listen to me now. This is official. This is from the government. AIDS was created because a monkey in Africa, Congo, had sex with a woman. If you don't believe me, look it up. Type in the origin of AIDS according to the U.S. government. They said that the monkey had the virus and gave it to a woman. They said, we're not going to say that the woman cohabitated with the monkey, but somehow the virus jumped from the monkey to the woman. Then Ebola came out. And Ebola worse than AIDS because, Ebola liquefies your internal organs. They literally turn into liquid. And they start oozing out of every edifice in your body. Guess what? Ebola comes from the Congo too. Another type of monkey. Okay? Now I got a question for you. Why the Congo? The Congo is the richest piece of real estate on the face of the earth. Do you know that there's more diamonds, gold, coltan, oil, you name it, in the Congo than any other nation on the face of the earth? In fact, we all got a cell phone right now, laptop at home, car outside, which you probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for cobalt and titanium. They bring them together and mix coltan. You cannot have an electromagnetic communication device with it.
So like what you were saying,
the reason why the monkey had to come from the Congo is because you would never think about going to the Congo to nobody.
I buy $100 with you get 50 the other, and we got more product, right or wrong.
Wars that's going on between the gangs.
I spend 100 with you, you get 50 out of that 100, we get more product, right or wrong.
Why do you think they assassinated Patrice Lumumba back then?
Because I'm getting my product for the 100, right?
Okay? Because Lumumba said you ain't gonna stay up from my country no more. If you want
the whole thing is we don't know, and what you said you got a store, so we know we're not a product.
Initially, you can just buy it from yourself.
You know what? Get him out of here.
Like I was trying to do,
like
I was trying to do what I was trying to buy them little bracelets.
Yeah, but it's the way you go in the system, and little trinkets and stuff like that. I mean, it counts, but they don't pay big bonus points. That's
because I want to go get those power things. Do what you say. You got a certain height to get that, but I thought we got a store.
You go to the store by the time you want to.
Look at what they do to us.
Right. You on your website, you buy on the store, buy it. You got your card, go ahead, buy it.
I had one
why don't we just start buying? Well, you got to buy. You want to pick it up at the office. So you got to put it in there. You want to pick it up at the office.
I'm ready to do it.
Every text message, every voice message, every email message, every phone message goes into a central repository and is never destroyed or deleted out. Okay? With everybody here. There is no privacy in America. That was one of the first things they undone in the latest Telecommunications Act came over. He did that. There is no privacy anymore. You are already being screened. I don't want nobody in my business. Your business, hell! It's their business. You don't have no business. What business? Chicken wings, shrimp egg bouillon? What business do you own? Because you ain't got a supermarket. You ain't got a private school. You ain't got an airplane or a submarine. By the way, Bob Johnson, who sold DT to Viacom for $2 billion, actually wanted to start the first black international airplane business because he saw how much money black people spend in the travel industry. And you know what they said? They said, nigga, here go basketball, you better get out my face and give him the Charlotte Bobcats. That's right. That's right. Bill Cosby's been trying to get a major network since the beginning of time. And I take issues with Bill, don't get me wrong. Okay? Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, there was a black man who was trying to buy a major network. They sent him somewhere else. See, there's certain industries that are not open to black folks unless they organize. How is it that Michael Jordan is the first former NBA player to become a majority owner of an NBA team? And the NFL still ain't had a black owner yet. See, what we fail to realize, my brothers who like run with the Eagles flags in your car, when you run around with the Eagles flag, you don't even know that you're supporting white supremacy. See, the Philadelphia Eagles is a corporation. The Philadelphia Phillies is a corporation. They buy, they trade, they sell, they exploit internationally. It's a white corporation. And we got a bad habit of doing that. It's amazing, too, because you see Irish people have the Irish flag, Italian people have the Italian flag, and a Negro will have the Eagles flag and the Sixers flag on the other side of the window with some dark-ass glasses on. Thinking he doing something. So we got to wake up. First of all, what we got to do, we got to start pulling that money together. You know why black folks don't own anything? Because we don't trust each other. We don't trust each other without money. Now you want to put a dollar bill in this? I give this brother $1, I'll be calling him every 5 minutes to make sure he ain't spent my damn. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? You know why the Orioles get a head up on you? They get off the boat. 20 families will shack up in one house and won't nobody leave the house till everybody in the family got their own business. Do you know that? It's what the Indians do because everybody has a do-for-self collective mentality except the black man. And guess what? This is good because we need the education, but then it's got to be transformed into action. Because guess what? We have lectured ourselves into extermination. It is time for action. But the problem is, the truth of the matter is, most of us are not ready for that action. And so, guess what? Everybody else uses it except us. Except us. So where do I think black people are going to be at ultimately in the next 100 years? We're in the 21st century. Where do I think we're going to be in the 22nd? This is what I think. I don't think there's going to be a single African American left in the next century. I think you're going to be replaced with African immigrants from Africa. Why them? Number one, they need our intellectual genius. We have it. The immigrant Africans have it. They need it.
Hello, you're through to Pegasus Lifestyle Management. How can I help? Your beautiful new aircraft is waiting at our nearest airfield. We hope you're very happy, sir.
Gangsters, they get rid of them. So these 40 million black people, we got to get rid of them. The reason why you got so many prisons, people, ain't because you're committing crimes. The reason why you have so many prisons is because they're trying to get you out of the population as a whole. That's why. By the way, for my Pennsylvania parents, in case you ain't heard the news, there's a new law, the Keystone Exam law. I did 3 lectures on this, but I'm going to give it to you real brief. This is the latest plot. Beginning in 2015 in the state of Pennsylvania, this applies to any child you have from 7th grade or younger. Beginning in 2015, state of Pennsylvania, there's going to be 10 tests called the Keystone Exam. Your child cannot fail more than 4. You must pass 6. If you fail more than 4, you do not get a high school diploma in this state. It's all 67 counties. It's all 501 school districts. If you think I'm making this up, go to the Pennsylvania Department website. There's already 25 states who have this test. And guess what? States that have the mandatory graduation exams have some of the highest incarceration rates in the country. Pennsylvania is building 4 new maximum security prisons right now. Do you want to know why? Because they know your kids ain't going to pass that test. How do they know your kids ain't going to pass that test? Because you don't socialize them to pass that test. I mean, let's think about it. A black child is born, they run around the house for 5 years. They go to kindergarten, might know how to spell the first 2 letters of their name. But by the time they get to the 5th grade, they can't even read, but they got Xbox, all the latest sneakers, all the latest Christmas gifts at home. You are your child's problem, not the teacher. And you hearing this from a psychologist. I argue with parents. I don't care. I'm going to say, let me tell you something. Your son should know how to write his name before he got to my test. If you know your son can't read, why you ain't working with him at home, parents? If you know your daughter can't do math, why you ain't working with her at home? Do you know that if they don't get that high school diploma, they're going to get a certificate of completion, and they will be shut out of any life activity whatsoever? They won't even be able to go into the military, even though I don't think no black child should be going into the military because they're the first to die. They put him right on the front line. He was about 70% of the ground troops of the Iraqi war back in the 90s. Furthermore, being a black person in the military is damn near being like a black person in the FBI or CIA. By the way, do you know that it was undercover snipers from the U.S. Army that shot Dr. King? And it was the Ku Klux Klan who told them where Dr. King was. So believe it or not, the white secret hate groups worked with the government. Remember, it was the U.S. government that told Lucky Luciano, as long as he could get these drugs in the hood, we'll pardon you, you'll get out of jail. Okay? So they all work together. White supremacy is white supremacy. Illegal and legal. The bottom line is they got one goal in mind, the extermination of all African people, period, at least in America. At least in America. But they're working on Africa because even though there's 800 million people in Africa, at the rate of AIDS, they say that there might not be a black person on the continent by 2052. That's your lifetime. Could you imagine going to Africa with no black people? That's what they're trying to do because even though you hate Africa, they love Africa. They love it. They're always there. When I was on the airplane in Nigeria, I thought I was on my way to Tokyo. The whole airplane was Oriental. And you know what they're doing in Nigeria? They are buying up the industry just like they do right outside your house. In Nigeria, they own all the chicken farms. They own all the turkey farms. They own half the fast food restaurants. Nigeria and certain states in Nigeria look just like North Carolina. And guess what? When they go to Africa, they catch malaria, but they still keep on coming back. See that? You got aliens coming and taking over your native land because you don't want nothing to do with it. Talking about you ain't left nothing in Africa. The worst thing you can do is cut yourself off from your life bank. Because as Africa goes, you go. The reason why you get disrespected in America is because the black man in Africa gets no respect. Do you really think that you can set yourself up as a nation apart? In fact, that's what the Hispanics are doing. Because remember, up until 1970, there was no such thing as a Hispanic. There was Africans who spoke Spanish and Africans who spoke English. But because they knew that the Africans who spoke Spanish, many of them didn't want to accept the fact that they were African, they gave them a name for themselves. They called it Hispanic. So when they talk about the Hispanics about the surpassing the blacks, you got to ask, what is the definition of it? A lot of the people you talk about are blacker than me and my mother. You understand? They are using names and titles to separate people. Now, Haiti. Talk about this Haiti nonsense. Hugo Chavez, the president of Venezuela, on CNN a few days after the hurricane, said that the United States Army Corps of Engineers was testing atomic weapons on the ocean floor by Haiti. And it was the atomic weapons that caused the earthquake, not nothing natural. You want to know why Hugo Chavez knows that? The earthquake wasn't even meant for Haiti. It was meant for Venezuela. But they missed the mark. And if you notice, it's been 3 or 4 other Central American nations been hit because they can't quite get it right, but they're doing it to smash him. Oh, they did hit him? Okay, so they did hit him. I didn't even know that. You see this? He has perfected the art of using nature against you. And you know what's so suave about it? You never know for sure whether it was nature or him. That's what he did in Hurricane Katrina, which was so sad. I was down there last summer. Okay, they ain't fixed nothing up in the 9th ward. Half the black people wasn't allowed to go that way. But the rich white folks was allowed to come in and rebuild. Do you want to know why they moved everybody out of the 9th ward? Why did they flush the brothers and sisters out? Because a few weeks prior, you know how they do the oil tax? They found oil under the projects. Yes! They found oil under the ground with all these poor black people, and they said, how are we going to let them get out of here and not know we got this? Somebody said, wash their ass. That's exactly what they did. For oil, good people. For oil. And last week, our President Obama said, he's going to give the okay to start going offshore oil. Okay? Everything is political. Everything is connected. Stop giving your enemy the benefit of the doubt. The one thing we got to agree to disagree on is this. Whatever your relationship with Europeans is your business. But when it comes to the business of organizing African people, what we do is none of their damn business. Some of y'all ain't realized that yet. You're the only people who will tell your intimate business to other people. Okay? Take a Korean businessman and another Korean businessman. They may respect each other as Koreans, but when it comes to selling the sneakers to your kids, they're not going to tell where he getting his price from and where he getting his price from. Black folks got to do the same thing. We don't believe in racial hatred. That's not who we are. But I don't have to be an integrated fool not to believe in racial hatred. And some of y'all, your religious views have clouded your mind so much that you can't even come to an all-black league without feeling like you're sitting back, Tyson. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. And I'm going to wrap it up with this. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I come in the tradition of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, greatest black leader of the 20th century, only black leader that ever organized 15 million Africans. He organized more Africans than every organization you can think of put together since the end of slavery. Not only did he do that, he gave us the red, black, and green flag. He laid down a strategic map work that led to the freedom of all of the African world. Kwame Nkrumah, who led Ghana to independence in 1957, and he has a black star on that flag, said that if every book he read, including the Communist Manifesto and Du Bois's work, and remember Du Bois lived his last years in Ghana, he said the most significant and impactful book that he ever read was The Philosophy and Opinions of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. I got any copies of them? Handful of them. Now, Garveyism, Garveyism and 7 quick steps. Number 1, your God better look like you if he has an image. If he ain't got an image, so be it. But you know what I find? A lot of us think our God don't have an image, but he does. Like a lot of our grandmoms. God ain't got no color, but when you go in his house, you still see who painted Michelangelo's uncle up in there. Because you do know that the Last Supper was his uncle and 12 crooks that he got from the prison. If you don't believe me, read his history. That's right. That painting on your wall is nothing but inmates from the local jail. That's like going down to Pick and CFC up, taking a mold shot and hanging it up on your kitchen wall. Okay? So tell grandmama that. Okay? All right? But number 1, your God, if you're going to have one, better look like you. And believe it or not, that didn't even start with Marcus Garvey. You know who started that first? A black man by the name of Bishop Henry McNeill Turner. He was one of the grandfathers of Pan-Africanism. He was the first black chaplain general in the U.S. Army, and he was the one who was elected to the, I think it was South Carolina, North Carolina legislator, and he called the red, white, and blue flag a dirty rag in front of the white Congress people before slavery ended. Bishop Henry McNeill Turner. So your God better look like you. Number 2, African identity. Identify with who you are. I know there's a lot of different theories over there on the word Africa, but I'm going to take my knowledge from the greatest African scholar warriors, being Sheikh Anna Joe, Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Ben, and others. The word Afro-Ka was in existence in Africa before the white man came there. And you know what it means? It means birth of name. So you got to identify with who you are. If you want to use other names, but don't let nobody tell you you can't call yourself an African. I don't give a damn who they are or what they believe. The next one is African identity. You must have race pride. There's nothing wrong with being proud to be black. You're proud to be Christian, you're proud to be Muslim, you're proud to be Hebrew, you're proud to be this, you're proud to be that. And there's nothing wrong with your religious pride, but you must also have race pride as well. Raise your child with that. Independent African political power, independent African economic power, unity, and the last thing is that the nationhood must be based in Africa. All of you don't need to go back, because some of you are going to cause more problems than you solve. But you must have a centralized nation base, and it must be the richest the richest continent on the face of the earth. It must be Mother Africa. That's where the international government must be based, although we can live anywhere we want on the face of the earth. And believe it or not, if you don't decide to get up and work for Africa, or relocate, or do something, sooner or later, you're going to be forced to do it anyway. Because what happened in Katrina, they're going to keep on doing that. They're going to not stop. There is no stopping until the black man is going. And I'm going to leave you with this. Many of us think that they just want to get rid of the grassroots blacks, the struggles, the freedom fighters. Many of us think that people like Tiger Woods and Barack Obama will always exist. That's not true. Do you know what eugenics is? Eugenics means to exterminate the gene that produces the people. So that means that they must exterminate everything. So the goal is not to keep a few here and a few there. The goal is to get rid of every last American-born African. Only then can white supremacy be done. But guess what? The gift of the curse is one and the same. If black people in America stand up, black people all over the world stand up. Everybody's waiting on us to wake the hell up and do what we need to do. And they will follow suit. Just like they follow us in the NBA, just like they follow you to get your hair permed, they will follow you to revolution. Join an organization if you're not in one, but make sure it's a serious organization, not with a leader who just wants to paint the masses. It must be a serious organization. But you join one, if you can't find one, then you start one. A non-religious one. Church plus something else. Because some of you guys are belong to. No. The church plus one. And I'm going to leave you with a quote. Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who said, without confidence in self, you are twice defeated in a race of life. Without confidence in self, you are twice defeated in a race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. Frederick Douglass, an ancestor of mine, He said that in so many words. I'm going to paraphrase the quote because it's leaving me right now. Black folks want things easily done, but they don't want to put forth the sacrifice and the struggle that's necessary to do it. Our problem is we want progress, but we don't want to lose no money. We want progress, but we don't want to lose our jobs. We want progress, but we don't want to lose our life. Guess what? Especially for Christian folk, I know you know this well. There can be no redemption without bloodshed. So in order for us to get where we need to be, some of us are going to have to be willing to die. Thank you very much.
I'm not die behind some bullshit like this old ragged ass fucking game that y'all stupid ass kids are playing on, and y'all don't know or have a concept of that. It's just a shitty ass, funk ass game. You dumb bastards.
He said so many things.
And you're not supposed to be on it because you're not old enough to comprehend what type of game it is for your little psyche.
Everything that he just said. Everything that he just said. So if you have any questions for the brother now, especially pertaining to your kids and education, ask me now, please. Yes, sir. But in music in a whole, I think music can be a very revolutionary force. It always has been. When you look at any great revolutionary movement, it was music to go with it, whether it was an African movement or a non-African movement. But just like music can wake you up, music can also put you to sleep. In fact, when you come into a community, if you don't know the mental state of the people, all you have to listen to is the popular tunes that they play. So if you come into the black community today and listen to our most popular music, it is self-denigrating, it is self-respecting, and it is consciousness-lowering. You follow me? At the same time, if you listen to some of our most popular music in the 60s, although you still had some of that, okay, some of the more popular tunes were stuff that was a little bit more and the responsibility of the black artist is if they're going to engage in the foolishness, you must also put some cuts out there, okay, that are very, very powerful and spiritually uplifting. They're not doing it. Now, don't get me wrong, there was black on black crime before gangster rap. But gangster rap glamorized it. And since the presence of gangster rap, the degree of black on black violence has climbed. So for any rapper to stand up here and say that my music does not impact the black on black violence, that's a psychological lie. Music is the stage to show that music can actually determine behavior, not to the extent that I go out and kill somebody after blame the rapper. I'm not talking about that. But there is an influential aspect to the music. In fact, in ancient Africa, they say that there is a part of your spine, you understand, that corresponds to every sound of music. And that in Africa, certain music was played to help your spirit come from your belly and go to the consciousness. You see? So it's a very liberating point. The problem is black music is totally owned by Europeans. That's why people say hip-hop culture is progressive. Culture is transforming, and most of all, you must own your own culture. Black people don't own rap music. You understand? Even the big-time people who like the work, they don't even own their own stuff. Okay? Universal Records, Interscope, there are black people sitting on the board of directors. Nobody. You understand? But the people on TV are making you think that they own something. They own a little piece of something. But the bulk of the music that they make is going to somebody else. Music is America's second leading export industry. Did you know that? America makes more money off there's only one other product, and I forget what that was, that America makes more money off than music. Music is America's second leading import industry. If we control just what we made, we can trillionaires by now. You follow me? But we got to go back to the way black musicians used to operate, which was sell their own product. See, if you're in music, even if you're in publishing, you got to make a decision. I want to get famous and keep a little bit of what I make. Or I don't get famous and keep everything of what I make. You understand? It is the central dilemma of every black person in business. If I sign with a big distribution company, I can get real famous. But my amount of the profits is going to be low. But if I continue to sell out my truck, I won't be as famous, but I'm going to keep all the money. What do I prefer? I say don't be famous and keep all the money. We got to get back to ownership because until you own, you don't control. And we got to make sure we influence our children to become owners of whatever industry they decide to pursue. If a child wants to be a doctor, you got to give us another black hospital because we ain't had one. You understand? If a child wants to fly airplanes, you got to give us a black airline.
I'm a CEO, man.
Okay, if you want to be a lawyer, you got to own your own.
You ain't gonna kill me when I want you to kill me.
Serve white people as long as you make a six figures. We are not
blow my plane up. Yeah, I'm a CEO.
Power and
Shut up.
See, you don't have to be rich when you have power and control. Look at all the money black folks got. You understand? But you have no power. White man got power. He don't need the cash for it. I'm rich. Excuse me, if I'm powerful, I don't need money. I can make you do what I want done anyway. Money is unnecessary. Money is for people without power. We need the power and we need the wealth. We keep telling our kids that money is power. No, wealth
I'll
is
never
power.
kill nobody. I'm not no killer. I ain't much on this game. You can't make me start no circle with you because you want me to start a circle with you. I don't want to start a circle with you. And I have free will not to start a circle with you. A circle of madness. Me killing you. For what? You don't like me and you don't know why you don't like me. Or you wouldn't have just killed me.
All we want to do is spend money.
Not knowing me.
One thing in this, I'm going to leave on this. Well, let's listen to another quote. The goal of slavery was to make the slave a willing accomplice in its own extermination. The goal of slavery is to make the slave a willing accomplice in its own extermination. If I can get you to play a role in your own extermination, I don't have to be in your neighborhood. If I can get you to play a role in your own extermination, I don't even have to be in the prison. I'll be in the corner store. I know what you are thinking. As Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, who was the Barbie guy, he said, look, with the slave, if you control a man's thinking, you ain't got to tell him to go to the back door. He'll go on his own. It's the socialization. It's the conditioning. And if he goes back there and Dinko goes around and he'll knock him down and make on himself. It is the power of mind control. Slavery, post-traumatic stress disorder, is nothing but control of man's mind. And this is what I say to my revolutionary brothers. Some of them think they're revolutionary, but they're not. Okay? This is what I got to tell them. Before we can do anything else, we got to have a mental revolution first. Do y'all understand? People want to go out there and fight with guns. People want to go out there and let's go build this. We can't. You want to know why? Because the two biggest enemies in the black community is jealousy and envy. I don't give a damn how many books you read. Until we stop being jealous and envious of one another, we ain't going to get nowhere. How many times have y'all been in meetings with a bunch of other young black folks and somebody destroy your whole damn thing? Jealousy and envy. Even when you study our history, you see some of the greatest black men we ever had were destroyed by other great black men because of jealousy and envy. And the problem with jealousy and envy is this: if this man has the secret that can liberate all black people, but I'm jealous of him, my jealousness is selfish. You know what? Because I will kill him, no, he may have been the one to see him. So if I'm killing him, do I really care about myself? Hell no, I care about myself and my ego. So us black men, before we come together as men and get done what we need to get done, you got to kill the envy and the jealousy. Got to. And that's why I respect Dr. King and Malcolm so much, because for the first time, two serious black leaders, other than President Douglas and Martin Delaney, was able to come together, agree to disagree, and King and Malcolm was actually going to join forces. Dr. Malcolm met with Coretta Scott King 3 weeks before he was assassinated. Dr. King was in jail at the time. They had sketched out a program for the Organization of Afro-American Unity and the Conference.